Everybody, thank you for sticking around. Okay, so we wanted to kind of button this delegate fight up, I think, right?
Yeah, I think, Ted Cruz is organized. That's going to be his advantage from here on out. Neither one have the ability to reach 1,237 votes, I don't think, at this point. Ted Cruz is conceivably could if he wins every single delegate from here on out, including all the ones in California.
Right.
And that's so unlikely.
There's delegate fighting going on the Democratic side as well.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
So,
because I will tell you that what I see, and this is, and maybe I'm just giggling because you have a socialist having his delegates redistributed, but he goes in, he wipes Clinton with the floor. He's done that 2 or 3 times in 2 or 3 places, and yet Hillary Clinton comes out with more delegates. She comes out with more super delegates. She comes out with more delegates overall. So you have a different take on this. You don't think that's what's happening? Well,
no, I don't really think that's what's happening at all. I mean, let me ask you this question. I just want to check a perception really quick. Now no one really knows. Well, actually, we do know, but there are estimates about who's been winning the popular vote in all of these different races, like who's gotten the most votes overall throughout the primary process. Do you have an idea of who is winning the popular vote on the Democratic side?
No, I believe it's Hillary Clinton all the way. I don't know the numbers, but I believe Hillary Clinton's winning the popular vote.
Would you be surprised to know that it's about 9 million to 6.5 million? She's beating him by 2.5 million votes.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that 100%.
And her share of the delegates, the pledged delegates, which is she's got about a 230 delegate lead. It's like a little over. Well, actually, it's. I mean, I can do this here. I pull that up, but
the numbers are not proportionate.
They are proportionate.
Okay.
She is winning about 55% of the pledged delegates, based on winning about 55% of the total votes that have been cast. About 56%. She is overperforming in the overall delegate math because of the super delegates. And Bernie is underperforming to that degree, but she's coming out, and that also is matching the national preference poll of about 56 to 42 in favor of Hillary. So the numbers for Hillary, and this is what it just, part of the reason that's the case. And this idea of Bernie Sanders' momentum is needs to be looked at a little more closely. Is the states that he's won, this big raft of states he's won, not only have been in more lightly populated areas like Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho, Vermont, but they've been caucus. Well, Vermont I think was a primary, and he was going to win Vermont regardless. But they're also caucus states that don't get the turnout. He has not won that. He has not won as many votes as Hillary Clinton where it matters. And in these caucus states, just like we saw in Iowa, where the delegates are allocated proportionally, you can have a situation where the votes cast, you've won, like in Wyoming, you've won 56% of the vote overall, but maybe you didn't win enough in the population centers. Maybe Hillary picked up enough proportional delegates in places where it's a little closer at the county level to snag a delegate from you. That's where it came out to the 7-7, and then the 4 superdelegates who had pledged to her probably a while back, and she comes out 11 superdelegates to 7.
Can you explain what a superdelegate is? Because I'm a Republican. I don't think we have those.
You do not have those. And I bet at this point, a lot of Republicans wish they did.
I would agree with that as well.
A superdelegate.
This is a bad show for me. I've had a bad day. I fell down in my garden, hit my head, rolled over, crushed all my tomatoes, my tomato plants, and wiped out my rhubarb in one fell swoop. I bounced around. I was like a ball. It was like a beach ball bouncing around in my garden.
But Doc, I hate to put a silver lining because we know that it's not a very empathetic response to have, but you were able to be working in your garden on a Tuesday.
Well, fair enough.
So anyway, which sounds like a pretty lovely afternoon. But so superdelegate, which is not the term that I think superdelegates like to be called, but whatever, we had to call them something, are elected officials, party elite, and higher up, position of people of power in the Democratic Party that are unbound to any candidate who can vote for anybody who they want. Hillary has pledged or has a bunch of them who've committed to her. They don't have to. They can change their vote at the convention. But she's got like 490 some. Or
are there? Because the Democrats have a lot more delegates.
Yes,
we have a total of what? 1,800 or something like that.
No, it's over 2,000.
So we have over 2,000.
Yeah, we have a lot.
Yeah, you got like $4,000, $5,000, something.
No, it's a little over 3, but it's
a bunch. So is a super delegate worth like 10 regular delegates?
Nope. One vote counts the same.
So what makes them super? Besides the fact that they're established.
They're not elected. Is basically what it is. They can vote for anybody they want.
So in other words, the Democrats set up their organization exactly the way they want the government, and that is all the control centralized in a place, and whatever the people want. Too bad.
It would be great if that was the reality, because then you'd be right. But there has never been a situation where the superdelegate count has affected the outcome of a nominating process. So right now, Hillary Clinton is not just
so why
never.
have him?
Why have him?
Yeah,
I don't know.
All right.
I don't know. It's a tradition kind of thing, but it recognizes the role that party elites play in democratic politics in a sort of more overt way than the role that party elites play in Republican politics, where they're not really recognized as having as much influence.
Yeah.
But we all know the influence is about the same. So the point that I would make about all this, I mean, Hillary Clinton is still winning in the popular vote. She's winning in the pledge delegates, and she's about to have contests in New York, Philadelphia, and California, where 538, as recently as I think I checked it on Friday of last week, has her at 97% chance to win New York, 94% chance or something to win Pennsylvania, and I think a 90% chance to win California. That's a lot of delegates.
Yeah, that is. I think that would put the nail in Bernie's coffin.
But they're all proportional. So
well, that's true.
She's running about 10.
That still would put a nail in his coffin. I mean, for crying out loud, if your campaign rests on we got 10%, then
Well, the issue that Bernie Sanders has said and his campaign has said and argued is that they're going to take it all the way to the convention in June, which everybody says that. I mean, Hillary said that when she was way behind Barack in 2008. Everybody says they're going to take it all the way to the convention in June, and their strategy that he has confirmed a couple of times in interviews and his campaign has said is that regardless of the status of the vote, that he's going to attempt to take those superdelegates and change them to him, even if she's beating him in the popular vote, even if she's beating him in the pledge delegates.
Well, I think that's a good strategy for somebody who isn't likely to get the nomination.
What else can he say?
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to give it to Bernie. He's not giving up. Neither is Hillary. Ted Cruz has been very dogged. If there hadn't been 2,500 Republican candidates, I'm pretty sure they would have knocked Trump out 2 or 3 months ago. Because I know a lot of the Republican elites were begging Rubio to back off. But the problem is Rubio has his own elites, and they're trying to get Cruz to back off. And then, so what now? Paul Ryan. We haven't talked about him. We're going to talk about Paul Ryan after the break here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We're going to be talking about Paul Ryan and his stealth campaign, maybe for president. I have some ideas. I'm sure Lefty has some ideas. We'll be back right after this break. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We couldn't do what we do